What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging in there until 4:20. You can finally get on here. I was running a little bit late, so appreciate the patience. Just had a few things I had to wrap up here. Hopefully, you all are having a good day, a good end to your week as we roll into Friday here. I know I'm looking forward to the weekend. First full weekend of football. That's always an exciting weekend. Make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing here. We also jump into live chat with you all. Get signed in here. Open that up. There we go. All right, if you're watching live here right at the start, let me know how the audio is. Should be fine. Just checking my levels. Everything looks to be normal, but you can let me know in the chat if I'm sounding good. Should be. Let me increase this up here just a little bit. This might help. There we go. Let me know how this is. This should be a lot better. I just brought it up to a much higher level here. We'll do that. We'll also increase that up a little bit. There we go. We'll give this a shot and see how this is. Perfect. Okay. As long as I'm not super quiet, then we're in good shape. All right. So we already had some questions roll in. I'm glad I'm able to hop on, talk with you guys today here to end out my week. So we got a few questions. Ask anything. Okay. Ron wants to know, what is ham radio? It's where people come to air grievances. No. It's, I said, just a great hobby if you're interested in radio. I mean, I think a lot of people don't know that radio is involved in a lot of different parts of our daily life today. And it's only gotten more a part of our life, although most people don't realize what they're dealing with as radio. Your phone, whether we're talking cellular, at house, Wi-Fi, it's all radio, So it's just, if you're into radio and think radio is cool, amateur radio is a good hobby for that. Let's see here. Alyssa's had some questions. When traveling out of town, what preparations and equipment do you use? It's a good question. And it's great to see that you're out in Denver. I lived out there for a decade. Great city. When I travel out of town, the most important thing for me is I want to make sure that I have a radio that I'm comfortable using and know how to program on the fly. That's probably the most critical thing for me when I'm traveling, because a lot of times I'm using DMR radios, which stands for digital mobile radio. They often look like this. This is my main DMR radio. This is a Motorola R7. These are not the easiest things to program. You got to have a laptop to program them. So I don't take this when I'm going out of town. I take a radio that might look something like this. This is a real old school Yaesu HT, back when Yaesu used to make good HTs, and they don't anymore. The VX6, I might take also, if I have a DMR on the brain, I might take my Anytone 878. This is a super popular DMR radio. So that's what I'm taking, because those radios I can program on the fly like that. I know them very well, and before I go somewhere, I'll look up and see if I can kind of try to figure out what are the big repeaters in the area that I'm going to. And of course, you always have simplex as an option, but I try to prepare a little bit ahead of time. Now, some people will go really overboard and they'll program their entire radio for their vacation. Now, I normally don't go that far. Some people do, I don't. Same thing on a road trip. I won't really program everything along the road trip. I might program, in some of the larger cities, a few repeaters here and there, and then just operate on 5.2 simplex. But again, do a little research ahead of time. Go to, some web pages, do some research, do some Googling for Hawaii, figure out what machines are there, maybe program in 2, 3, 4, 5, and then operate on simplex. And then once you get there, if somebody says, hey, this machine's a lot more active, you can quickly go into your radio and program it on the fly. So the key is, bring in a radio that you're comfortable with. I think that's one of the most important things. Yes, that is true. R7 is certainly not the cheapest radio, but I said in terms of DMR, it's hard to beat. It really is the top of the line Moto Turbo radio right now from Motorola. Anytone stuff's good, but it's not comparable to Motorola. I mean, one of the biggest things that I noticed between, say, this radio, which I mentioned before, the Anytone 878, which is a super popular radio for DMR, compared to the Motorola is this radio suffers from time sync issues. Now, in DMR, timing is everything. It has to be precise timing to hold the slot. This radio will lose sync, and then all of a sudden the radio will go deaf until you push the PTT again. You don't suffer that on this radio because you're paying big money not to. So again, this radio is good for what it is. It's good for the money. Again, this is much more expensive, but this is headache-free. There's really no quirks, weird problems that you get on this radio. You can live with the quirks on this radio. Don't get me wrong. You'll learn to kind of work around them or just understand what they are when they come up. You know how to get through them. But on this radio, you have none of that, which is nice. But that's what I would say to that question, Alyssa, if you're still on, is just bring a radio you're comfortable with, do a little research ahead of time, throw in a few repeaters. But I don't really take HF stuff with me anywhere. I operate mostly from home, and of course, occasional portable activation here in the state in which I live, which is Minnesota. So that's kind of how I do my travel. But I'm curious, I mean, when you all are traveling, drop me a comment. I mean, do you program a bunch of stuff ahead of time? Do you just rely on Simplex? Do you take HF with you? I mean, HF is fun in different parts of the country. I learned that when I did live in Colorado, because it's, when you go to different parts of the country, propagation is different. The hops on different frequencies are different. So you can get new states, new areas, and experience what propagation is like on HF in a place that you've never been before, which is kind of neat. I like it. It's a lot of fun to do that. But, I just really don't take HF with me, mostly because I think my wife would probably wring my neck. That's the real reason why I really don't take it with me. I said we're mostly doing, fun family stuff, family vacation. So don't really have time for HF. But do know that when you travel, you can take a ham radio with you through security in the airport. Just know that. That's not a problem. They won't bat an eye at a mobile radio stuffed into a suitcase, or certainly HTs, whether you're going to carry them on or put them on your luggage. I mean, TSA sees that stuff all the time. So don't think that you can't get through TSA with the radio stuff, because you can. People do it every single day. But again, for the folks watching, I mean, what do you do when you travel? I know some radios out there, like ICOM's got a radio that uses GPS and will just basically pull a database of repeaters. So that way you never have to worry about programming stuff yourself. That's kind of nice. I was going to try to pull up HF here too, and bring that up if I can get the audio working. Let me see if I can also bring that up here on the stream today. 20 meters has been kind of interesting today. This morning it was booming. It was rocking. It seemed to get a little bit worse throughout the day, but still not too bad. So we'll pull up HF here too. But if you have other questions, drop them in the chat. All right, let's see here. Let me find my app for bringing up HF here. And what are you guys planning on doing this weekend? We got quite a bit of ham radio stuff going on this weekend in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. We got a ham fest just up north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we have our very popular Hams in the Park, not to be confused with POTA. This is a monthly event here in the Twin City, just a meetup, and the weather looks great, so I have a feeling Hams in the Park is going to be pretty busy this weekend for us here. All right, let's boot up the capture card here on the 7300, and let's see if I can bring this up here. All right, I see it back there. Okay. But let me know what you're doing this weekend, because I got to figure out, am I going to go to the Ham Fest tomorrow or not? I'm not sure yet. That'll be a discussion over dinner tonight, probably, about whether I'm going to be able to get a chance to go up there. No, that's just chat. All right, let's add in a new source. All right, we'll do that. There we go. All right, so there's the radio. We at least got that part figured out, right? We at least got the radio sorted. So at least we know that's working. But yeah, let me know in the comments, what are you going to be doing this weekend radio-wise? Hopefully something fun. I said I would like to get up and go to the Hamfest. Never been to this Hamfest up here before. This would be a new one for me. Let's go ahead and shrink this down a little bit. We'll toss it down here in the corner. And now we'll see if we can't get that audio working too. But yeah, I mean, I don't need anything, that's for sure. I think I'm pretty much set for my projects this winter. I don't need any more projects. You never have too few projects, but I got enough on my plate. Oh, we had a little hiccup there. It'll come back. The video will come back in just a sec. All right, there we go. All right, we are back and synced up. I hate when that happens. Well, let's see if we can pull the audio over here from the radio. All right, so we're going to grab this. All right, you guys should be able to hear the radio now. Let me know if you can hear the radio. You should be able to hear it. At least according to this, you can, although I don't know if I believe it. Let's jump over. Nope. Okay, that's what I thought. Let's jump over to... No radio audio. Bummer. Okay. Let's open up the mixer. That always fixes everything, right? Got that. We got that. Because what's tricky for me is I'm trying to find my USB audio codec, but I'm not seeing it pulled up. I don't think that's going to give you anything. That's just going to give you my audio. That's no fun. This is probably just going to double up on my stuff that I already have going. All right. Let me try to plug something in. I'm going to at least give you the waterfall to look at here temporarily while I try to adjust this and get the audio going. I think I know what's going on. So let's put this up there. All right. So you can see I'm sitting on 20 meters right now. Let me go ahead and replug something in and confirm that I got everything plugged in that I need to. It sure feels like I do. Give me 1 second. All right. It's like the red wire or the black wire. Which one do I need to plug in? It's always a mystery.